How do everyone? Welcome to the Potty Mouth again. Yes, I forgotten completely what show number we are, but I'm sure JB's going to tell us. JB, welcome to the show. What show number is this?
I want to say 57.
I think you might be right. 57.
Yes,
Yes. How are you doing anyways, JB? Nice to have you here.
Very well, thank you. Very well.
Lovely on this cold morning.
Mm.
Audrey.
Yes.
Audrey, how are you doing? Yes.
Great.
How are you? It's been nice to see you there.
It is lovely to be here.
Thank you for coming on. And
Yes.
Jess, a mouthful of gin.
Yes,
no,
needed.
Mineral water. Jess, lovely to have you. And again, Jessie, thank you for coming on and having a little chat with her the other day there. So lovely.
That was lovely,
by the way. Lots of people watched that as well. So
yeah, that was lovely.
Lovely.
That was
a little
well
insight. Yes, thank you. So before we move on though, did you know today, and actually it falls right into gardening, today's, I don't know if it's like an official, but it's called Blue Monday today.
Oh,
because
today.
It's like the darkest month, you know what I mean? It's like we've got no money, it's freezing cold. So they've kind of come up with this term, and I think it's every year since like I think 2017 or something like that. We're classing this Blue Monday. So we're here. We're here to cheer you up
on officially the most depressing day of the year.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
What more?
Not with us around.
So, JB, can you just cheer up the thousands that are watching, please, if you don't mind?
Yeah.
Do a little sing or a dance.
Yeah. I was going to say, I had no idea that was today, and I've been having a really good day. Busy, but like, really nice. And it's gorgeous outside.
So beautiful outside today.
Yeah, blue sky.
Freezing outside today.
Yes. Well, Audrey, we'll come to you then, because Audrey's itching to tell me about like how cool, because I think it's cold here, Audrey. Honestly, I'm just like, this is the farthest room I mentioned a few times in the house, and it's like an extension part, and I'm sure there's no insulation, and it's just, I'm shaking here, but we are 1 degree, I think. What are you?
Yes.
What are you over there, Audrey?
We are now at negative 19 Celsius. So I'm sorry for the little cool breeze that you're getting over there.
Well, to be honest though, it's like your house.
It is possible, and you would freeze just walking to your car.
Yeah,
right now.
You're not living in a habitable zone. Like
that's why we can't grow through the winter.
Yeah,
it's just and it's going to be like this for like a week. So
well, our weather's cold as well. Or we've got it like I think for a week, but just nowhere near that. And honestly, that I was in Germany a couple of weeks ago, and it went one night to -9, and I just thought I was on like another frozen planet. To be honest, it was.
Well, this is really cold for us.
God knows what it's like.
Yeah.
Audrey, when you have you done already then? You know them where you have them plastic tubs outside?
I'm working on that right now. Right. I think you can see one up there.
Oh, that's
yeah. So they're going to get out there this week and go into the big chill. Man. And I think they'll have a great big chill. So that'll be good for them. So we're going to get maybe about a dozen out this week, and then keep at it until everything's out there.
And have you got over there, Audrey, just if Audrey lives in Detroit in the USA, have you got snow there as well, or is it just like a pure, hard, nasty frost?
Oh, no, we have snow.
Oh, right, right. Well, we haven't got...
So it's nice. It's very bright. Usually when it's really cold, we have bright sun.
Yeah.
And the snow reflects. So it's lovely to look at from a nice warm house. It's very, very nice to look at, but boy, it's cold.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why, why we're here is to kind of bring a little bit of warmth on these cold, cold winter nights for everyone.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
JB, what you been up to in your cold, frigid garden?
Yeah, the last video I did at the plot was it was really funny because I drove there. I just had a few bits to kind of drop off. I got out the car and I was just so cold. I just spent 10 minutes wandering around the plot going, oh God, it's cold. It's really cold. And it was like, I think it was freezing. It was like 0. Everything was frozen, the water butts and everything. So it was cold, but it's because I hadn't walked there. So
Yes.
Got nothing. But I've been quite busy in the back garden. Yesterday I finished a little sweet pea frame for Jess. And that was really nice. It was like 4 degrees, but I was down to like a jumper. You know, if you're working in the cold, it is completely fine. So yeah, that's nice. There'll be a video on that at some point. But last week the main thing was all my my chili guide. I spent a lot of time indoors doing a proper edit for a proper actual video on like a guide for how to start chilies, and it's going to be a series that I do throughout the year. So I'm very glad to have that.
No, yes, please go over and what. 'Cause like I say, chilies are the one thing I was going to ask you a little question on that as well, JB, on chilies. But go and watch JB's because they're a little tricky little thing and they're a temperamental little thing. So yes, and this is what is this, JB? Is this like one of 6 or something? Or are you doing like one a month until like final tear down?
It'll be kind of on the main growth stages. So sowing the seeds, then like their early development, then potting on, and then probably a little bit on their final potting, and then kind of care for them when they're in their final pots and maybe harvesting. So maybe like 6, one every 2 months or so. That's the plan. Anyway, we'll hopefully stick to it.
Lovely. I'm looking forward to that.
It's nice trying to condense everything that I've learned over the years into relatively short videos, because I don't do that. You know, I'm a bit like you. You know, we just go out and ramble, and it takes as long as it takes. And trying to like cut it down and get it into nice, short, compact videos is quite satisfying. Like you say in the edit, you know, when you get rid of everything.
What just roughly then, JB? I know what this is talking about kind of editing. How long did it take you to edit?
Really, like scary long. Scary. Like maybe, I don't know, at least 15 hours. It was like looking back through all the footage. You know, we were talking with Tony O'Neill, going back through old episodes and like finding, you know, all the old footage, and I went through and labeled and started categorizing all my photographs, which are all just like a big dump of like, you know, 6,000 photographs of various like allotment photos and that kind of thing. So a lot of it was that kind of organizing thing, but hopefully it's going to make it a little bit easier when I come to do the next ones. But it was all B-roll and photography and stuff.
15 minutes for me.
I
15.
wish, yeah.
When you said 50, I was going to say, "What, guy, you're up to me there." But 15 hours, man, I would walk away. To be honest, that's like.
I did a lot of you know, it was a proper video because I noticed a few mistakes and had to do like a few little reshoots and like voiceover and stuff like that. I would actually get the camera out and take some, if I needed a picture and I couldn't find one, I had to take it, you know, I had to go out and make it. So yeah.
So that's your excuse for kind of not really gardening. But there's nothing real. I mean,
I've not done much at the plot. No.
I mean, now's the time though, I guess, when you can, you know, because for next year, I guess, you've got a polytunnel. I mean, Charlie Dowdens will have his full of lettuce there now. You know what I mean? Have you seen, you know, he goes right through the window, and yeah, the lettuce is not kind of growing remarkably well, but it's still there. So it's still growing. So
yeah, it's the right time of year to do that kind of thing.
When you get your door on, JB, no, you've got to, when you get, would you, that's a question, another question I was going to ask you as well. Would you spend money on heat for a polytunnel your size, or?
It's tricky because if it was better insulated, and it didn't feel like I was just chucking money away, because it's very gappy. You know, if I was spending any money on heating it, it would be mostly going out the doors. But given the price of it, unless you can get like one of those super cheap diesel heaters on the go, it doesn't really make sense for me to be heating. I'm going to try the hotbed though. That's still on the to-do list.
That's what I was going to ask Tony O'Neill. You know, I was going to ask you. Sorry, I'm jumping in there. Sorry, Jess, I'll come to you as well. I was just, you know, Tony O'Neill mentioned a diesel heater. Are these the diesel heaters that you put in transit vans and you go away? You know, the camper van ones.
Yeah.
So that's the same diesel heater. What we're all talking about. It's like,
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
And the camper vans, right. I'd for some reason, I was at the beginning when Tony said that, I was thinking, what, like a diesel engine, like a diesel, like, you know, like chugging away there kind of thing. So, right, with you there now, with you.
Yeah, Chili Chump's got one.
Right.
and it's really cheap. They're really cheap to run, and relatively efficient. So.
But
Can I
go
ask
on.
JB a question on chilies?
Oh yeah.
Do you ever grow sweet peppers or just chilies?
Yeah, so this year is the first year that I'm actually gonna try some sweet peppers, because my big issue with sweet peppers, they're quite different. They're just thirstier. They need a lot more water. It's the same with like a thick chili pepper as well, like a jalapeno. They're just a bit thirstier, the ones with thick walls. Um, and so generally, because I know my own failings, and quite often in summer, especially with hay fever, it can be a good 2, 3, 4 days between waterings and going up and taking care. So anytime I do sweet peppers, they just die. I'm just really, really bad at taking care of them. Chili peppers are a lot more forgiving with the water, but this year I've got a bit more of like the automatic watering on the go. So the quad grows will be for the sweet peppers. I'm going to do some of them in the auto pots and that kind of thing. So I'm looking
Okay,
forward to this year having a
good.
few more sweets
Yeah,
on the go.
good.
Jess, have you been to the garden? Have you done anything in the allotment? I
Yeah.
know you've fed chickens, but have you done anything?
I've managed to just been leaves at the moment. Yeah, I've just because we've had so much wind, the leaves have like really come down for like a second wallop. So, but I've used a lot of them actually to cover my dahlias. I've made like like a nest over the top of dahlias. So I really don't want to dig them out because I don't have anywhere decent to store them. Like nowhere that's cold but frost free really. So everywhere I've tried to store them previously, they rot. So I do want to keep them in the ground. But yeah, so I've kind of covered them with a big pile of leaves and then stuck one of those, the plastic cloche, like just stuck that on the top, but open at both ends. So like it should, I'm hoping. I'm hoping. But yeah, that's
So
basically what I'm doing.
after what you've just said there, then you haven't tackled the mesh polytunnel floor yet, still, for the rats. No,
I haven't
no.
really even thought about it, to be honest. I keep looking and oh God, yeah.
You do realize now we're going to just keep on, you know what I mean? Is it done? This is going to be the 2024 JB greenhouse now.
Yes, I'm very glad. I'm really glad Jesse mentioned this, John.
Oh, no. Like I've really started distracting myself with loads of other jobs that desperately need doing more than that, Like, and also a couple of my arches have just like lost their bottom half, so I've got all that to do as well, and that's much more entertaining than rat proofing. So, but yeah, this morning, just now, actually, just before we came on here, I've just been doing sowing my peppers, the sweet peppers, and my cucumbers, and what else was I saying? Aubergines. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, look at those.
Oh,
okay.
No,
There,
oh.
there we go.
Nice.
We've got 3 of these going.
Beauty.
So yeah, they're looking great.
Is that 3 in one pot, or is that just
no?
one?
This is one, but I have 3 pots.
What variety is it, Audrey?
This is Diva.
Never heard of it, to be honest.
Well,
But
it's kind of like a little Persian cucumber. I like the little ones more than the big English ones.
well, that's what Jesse said. It's like it's nice to grow little ones indoors, so it doesn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just kind of.
Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to it, and I can
Yeah.
tell it's doing great. Last year they never even got bigger than 2 inches, so they're doing beautifully. I'm very excited.
What you done different than this year, Audrey? Because if just to let everyone know, Jesse started this ridiculous craze of trying to grow cucumbers in January in your house, but keep the bloody thing in your house right the way through. You know what I mean? So Audrey's took up the challenge last time. And
yes.
What have you done different then? Because they do look lovely, Jess.
Yeah, I have
Audrey.
honestly no idea.
Right.
Because I think it's the exact same seed starting mix. Well, I put these in potting mix. That might be the difference. The other ones went into a seed starting. So I put these right into a potting mix with a little compost mixed in because I thought they're going to be in there a while. So it's probably a healthier soil.
Right.
Yeah.
And Jess, have you just done yours now? Because I haven't done mine. So
I've just done like about 45 minutes ago.
right.
I've just sown mine. And I've also sown 2 melons, but purely as an experiment, because if a cucumber works indoors for the whole like year, I can't necessarily see why a miniature melon wouldn't. I'm not advertising that this is a goer. I'm just I just thought I had spare, slots in the seed tray, and rather than leave them empty, I thought, well, I may as well have a go. So I've done Socrates is my mini cucumber that I'm doing.
Mhm.
And I've also done a sugar baby, which is like a miniature watermelon, and then a Minnesota midget. I'll sow the Minnesota midget again, like when you're supposed to be sowing them, because they're fantastic. But I thought, they're in the same drawer as my cucumbers, so it was so tempting.
That's annoying.
Right.
It's
Now,
part of the
will the
family.
melons self-pollinate?
The Minnesota midget does, I'm pretty sure.
I didn't know that. Okay.
But I'm not sure about the sugar baby. But by the time they're flowering, the conservatory downstairs, like all of the slots are out, so we get things flying in and out.
Oh,
So
okay. Perfect
should
then.
be
Yep.
maybe.
Great.
You could
Well,
put
good.
it by the time it's flowering though, Jess. You could take that outside could you? Or not? Like just leave it outside for. No, I don't mean permanent. I mean like say a morning.
Like the
take
day
it,
trip.
yes, to the garden or to the yard or the front garden, and then bring it. Come on, back in, kids.
Yeah, I mean it's possible, but I don't think. Yeah, I mean I've had fine, like I've grown a courgette in the conservatory before, and it was pollinated, because it's not exactly a sealed unit. Like it's quite open to the elements, and there's a cat flap that doesn't work, so that's permanently open, so it's like, so
It'd be good if a melon does work in there. They're a bit more fickle though, aren't they? They're a bit more
fickle. But I've
sensitive.
had, in the last couple of years with the melons, they've only just started to produce fruit just before it gets cold. So I was just thinking, maybe if I can mollycoddle it inside, I've got the space, I might just be able to get them to do something a bit earlier.
In theory, then that's a cracking idea, Jet, because that was exactly mine last year. Even in the greenhouse, you know what I mean? It was like it was starting to get darker nights, and you're thinking, "Oh man, you're right there on the precipice, just to start, swelling up." But it was, I don't think I've ever had one bigger than a golf ball. You know what I mean? They're kind of they're another thing that's like I don't know why we aim for like these difficult things. You know what I mean? Just like potatoes, for God's sake.
That Minnesota midget's the only one that I've had quite a lot of success with. And sometimes if we have a good summer, like, I'll get loads of them about that sort of size. They're never going to get any bigger than that. They are really tiny ones, but they're so sweet. They're really fantastic.
I've had like 2 fruits that were nearly there, but they were just like they didn't ripen or sweeten. And it was really, really disappointing. But one year I'll get a melon.
Well, last year I think it was Stan actually gave me I had them fantastic. You know what I mean? They were a big plant. I put them straight in, but again, still late in the season, it was just not long enough. You know what I mean? So we will with bated breath, Jess, watch and see if that happens, because cucumber theory works. You know what I mean? That's ticked off.
Because you got some fantastic ones really early last year.
Yeah. And again, just little ones. I can't remember which ones I used, but just little ones. You know what I mean? So get them, and it's quite a bizarre to get cucumbers in April, May. Do you know what I mean? When you're just kind of sowing the seeds almost 2 weeks before, but the normal time. So yes. Now I was going to ask Audrey.
Yes.
Do you chit?
Oh.
So,
do you want me to tell that to everyone?
Well, I'll tell you why, because we were just actually in the garden centre looking, and I'm quite early with me getting me. So I picked up my potatoes. Now, this is a debate that's kind of going on and on and on. I chit because I feel like everyone tells you to. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's one of them things. Don't know if it makes any difference. And I can't remember, JB. What was Steve's
Oh,
take
he
on
was
it? Was
he
he
was
a
not a-
chitter? Was he or
He
no.
wasn't too fussed about it.
no?
Mm-mm.
Was he not? Right. I couldn't remember. I was trying to think there. Did
Yeah.
Steve like so he was just
He
straight
said-
into the ground?
He said there's nothing wrong with chitting, but he did a video about how it's kind of become the go-to method and the go-to advice for new gardeners. And it just kind of overcomplicates things, and there's a lot of kind of not like misinformation, but not necessarily useful advice for beginners on the subject of chitting. And so he thought, just keep it simple, just put them in the ground.
Well, that's in KISS, isn't it? Like the acronym
Keep it
KISS.
simple. Yeah.
Yeah, stupid.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I think that might be aimed at me there. No, well, I'm
Well,
not
to answer
gonna-
your question, Tony, I chit if I get the potato seeds early, just because they kind of do. And if I get them late, which I sometimes do, I just plant them.
right.
Yeah.
Well, what are these? These are Charlottes. Do you have Charlottes over there? These are a second early, Audrey.
Yeah, so we'd call that a mid-season.
Right.
I-
But that's
I-
your fault. That's the wrong pronunciation. But you know what I mean? It's second early, Audrey.
Okay.
Second
I
early.
do understand what second early
Mid-season, for
means,
God's
but
sake,
that's
man.
not what we call
Bloody
them.
heathens. And what do you call your mains then? Your main crop?
Late season.
I fell right into that one.
It's
didn't
very
I, you know?
simple. Early season, mid-season, late season.
I thought it might have been a bit more complicated, but
It's
no. King
Uh,
Edward. King Edward there. Have you got that variety over there?
I do not.
No.
No, I usually grow a Kennebec. For what? You
Never
get
heard of it.
Kennebecks over there. You have
Never heard of
Kennebecks
it.
over there.
No, man.
Yes, you
Proper potatoes
do.
over here, love. Not out of a tin.
No. Steve was growing Kennebecks
Was
a
he?
few years ago. Yes, so I know you could get them.
Well, I know you did once, Audrey. Someone recommended it. I forget the name. It was a popular one over.
Yukon Gem.
Yes, and I got a nice crop from them. You know what I mean?
Yes,
But they were
lovely
difficult to.
potato.
Yeah, I had to go to like a seed potato specialist.
Yeah,
You couldn't just pick them up from the garden centre. Our garden
Right.
centres over here, and that's what I don't want to plug garden centres too much, but that's Dobbies. So how much, JB, do you think?
Oh, you're a fan of Dobbies then, Jess?
How much, like one bag, do you think, Dobbies for a? I don't know if it how
is
many.
that 2 pounds? 3
Yeah, I was
pounds?
going to say about £2.
$5.99. $5.99.
For how many
£10
pounds?
£10 for two. And you know what though? There was hardly any there. That's what I was kind of.
You've
You've
been
been
robbed,
done,
Tony.
Tony.
You've been robbed,
You've been
mate.
done.
Oh, man, I've told you before, man.
Especially King Edward's. Just go to Waitrose. They're cheaper there.
Everyone will kind of. There'll be more comments now. You silly old fool. Words to that effect. You know why though? Because I was walking past and I went. I panic buyed because there wasn't
Yeah.
that many there, and I was thinking, and I don't know if that was they just put them on because there wasn't that much actually in the bloody garden centre. This Dobbies, and I was thinking everyone's buying them already. You know,
They saw you coming.
oh,
They
come
knew
on,
you would come in and put
They
3
stripped the
bags
shelves
out.
just to build the.
$5.99.
Yeah, that's nuts.
I'm
I
not
buy
a
them
fan.
by weight. Like 20 on the 24th, they're coming in at Chapman's, and you just so I get like 5 of each potato, so you don't have to buy like 2 kilos or whatever.
But Jess, did Chapman's give you a free scone? Because if you buy one scone, you got a free scone, right? So we had 2 coffees and
Yeah,
2
but how much
scones.
was the scone? Like $12.99, the one you had to pay for.
Yeah, because actually we were going to share the scones, like one scone, cream, jam, and everything. And Melanie came back with these 2, and it was just like, oh, 1 each. You know what I mean? Buy one, get one free. So I got a free scone. I didn't think the scene was coming, to be honest. And they did have loose ones, which were, I think, round about £2 something, I'll not lie. But the bags were, you know what I mean, tiny little bags, and I tried to kind of push in as many, and it ripped the bag, and I thought, oh, look at it. And if I hadn't have just been in the garden centre, I probably, I wouldn't have bought them just yet. But I'm what Tony O'Neill said. He's like on top of himself. You know what I mean? He's like ahead of himself now, and so there we go.
Yeah, actually, I was in where was I? Squires. I don't know if you get Squires garden centres, but I was well impressed with their potato selection. Like Chapman's is an independent little tiny place, and they just have like just crates of them, and they normally have maybe about 30 different varieties. But normally when you go to the garden centre, it is kind of the bog standard ones that you get. And Squires at the front, they had like there's like 2 aisles of potato varieties. I was so impressed. Like, yeah, really. And loads of ones. Like last year I got Caledonian Pearl from Chapman's, which turned out to be a beautiful potato. And it was its first year being like pushed out like that, and they had them at Squires this year, so I was well impressed.
So is Squires your local one then, Jess? Is it, or
in terms of like a big garden centre? We've got Hilliers at Scion, and then Squires, yeah,
right.
between the two.
Have you got?
But they're both like those big ones, that've got like a cafe attached. Scones.
Free scone, free scone, and you get a free cake on your birthday at Dobby's. You know what I mean? Have you got Dobby's down there in the south?
I think there's one close-ish to me, like over Portsmouth way.
Right.
But I've never been. The ones we've got locally seem relatively small.
Yeah, they're the place that was selling the tomato plants for $15.99 each this year.
Oh.
I know, it was outrageous.
I feel ashamed. I feel ashamed.
I was like,
I'm gonna go and what's that word where you whack yourself, flagellate yourself. You know what I mean? I'm gonna, once this show's finished, you know what I mean, I'm gonna get a dirty old towel from the allotment and whip myself. I wouldn't care, Well, we went because I got an early Valentine's present, which was it the National Heritage voucher? So we went somewhere nice, and it was with friends, and then we on the way back. Oh, let's call it the garden centre. So we put in the nearest garden centre, which just so you know what I mean. This is me reasoning. So I can't not go into a garden centre and like not spend. You know what I mean? That'll be unforgiven. You know what I mean? Even if it is the kind of Dobbies.
We went to when I was looking for the silver grey, we went to a local nursery called St Margaret's in Fareham. And I did my first ever little tour of a garden centre, basically inspired by you, Tony. I remember when I saw one of your first ever ones of those, I was like, how is he doing that? Like going around in public with a camera. And I've done it now. I've done it.
It's quite a, you know what I mean? It's quite a, I make sure the mic's pretty close to me mouth.
Yeah,
so it's like, I don't have to kind of talk too loud. I can just really talk like this.
But it was amazing. It was just a little place, but I was so glad I went in there, and I can't wait until kind of spring and summer when they've got their full range. There's all sorts of little ones dotted around, aren't there?
JB, man, I've even done this, like when you're going around with your phone, do you know what I mean, talking like that, and then there's been a few folks coming a little bit, and I'm like, yeah, right, right, well, yeah, and I have to edit that little bit out, because I'm too embarrassed to kind of, I'm like, but everyone looks and thinks he's like 57, he's talking like the kids, you know what I mean? Put the phone to you, put the phone. Yeah, right on. I did that at Clears once. I was like, oh man. Has anyone else got potatoes yet then? Or am I just kind of streaking ahead?
You're way ahead.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I know I mentioned Tone again, but when he said he was like on top of himself, it was like a kick up the bum to get. I've sown me aubergines there now, and I've sown the celeriac as well. So I have shocking results with celeriac, you know what I mean? It's kind of, but they're sown, you know what I mean? And just what you were saying, you've sown sweet.
I did my aubergines this morning.
Yes.
And the sweet peppers. But something I was going to say, actually, I was just talking about this on the vlog. But have a look at this. Like, same variety, early long purple, and how like misleading photographs on packets can be. I've got the same variety from 2 different suppliers. I've got Johnson's and Mr. Fothergill's. Look at that.
Uh-huh.
They look like
They
completely
look
different varieties.
fruits.
2 totally
Yeah.
different types of aubergine. Like, and it's the same variety. Seems a bit weird.
It looks like Johnson's has just got the wrong picture on their packet.
It
Just
just
look
looks
like they've stuck
those look like
a
black
moneymaker or
beauties,
Black
just like
Beauty.
a yeah.
Exactly. They've just gone for, let's find a picture of an aubergine and
Yes.
stuck it on there.
Yes.
There's the
But I looked
celeriac one.
online. I looked online to see, any pictures of like ones people have actually grown, and yeah, they sort of seem halfway between the two. Like they're not as skinny as that. That looks like like a Black Knight or whatever they're called one. Yeah, it just was interesting that they were so different. So if anybody's grown early long purple too, which one were they? What did they look more like?
I think they're going to be more like the skinny ones.
Mhm.
Like that one.
Yeah. I've grown a few of those Asian style. I liked them. I had a thought about how they would work. They didn't work that way, so I'm not growing those.
Well,
I'm
we
growing
had a
two skinnies this year.
Yeah, no, they
Doing
were
good,
great
but
for putting
yeah.
on like skewers and things
Yeah.
because you can just pop them on
had
and
mine over here, but I've lost
but
mine.
we're not huge eggplant lovers. So
Well,
or
there was
aubergines,
a
sorry.
program on, and I forget the lady, the presenters, and she's not normally a cook, but she does like kind of yard farm and in countryside. What do you call her with the curly blonde hair? But anyway, she cooked on an open fire. She put her aubergines on, 3 aubergines, and had them like blackened, charred. And I was thinking, oh, you can tell you're not a cook. But she took them off and like scraped the goodness out and made this dip, and then made flatbreads, and it looked gorgeous. Do you know what I mean? And the skin totally was charred, but the inside
Sure.
was gorgeous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I thought, all right, we'll
Was
try
that Baba
that.
Ganoush, is it called?
That's
Yes, Baba
I was
Ganoush
trying to think.
is
I was like, it
so
sounds
good.
familiar.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
good.
so good.
But I
And you
can't
have to
remember
do that so the insides get smoky flavor.
Mhm.
And that helps.
Ah.
Oh, so good.
So delicious.
Yeah.
Come on,
Ooh.
aubergines, germinate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's get. What else? Seedling updates, JB. All my
Yeah.
chilies have germinated.
Yeah, yours looked really good.
Well, not all of them, but a few of them. But this is what I was going to ask you, JB. So at this moment, right, I've got my, I've got me. I'll show you, but I don't think you'll be able to actually see it on the camera. That's my. Anyway,
Oh, your thermometers.
there's me thermometers. Me big 3 where me chilies are, this like heat mat plastic tray thing, is 25 degrees. So their feet are lovely and warm. But me greenhouse, the air about it, even with a heater on, is only 7 degrees. Now, I took the germinated lids off, right? But I've bottled it and I put the lids back on.
Yeah.
Have I done the right thing? The lids
That's
are
really
clear.
tricky. So they'll survive so long as it's not freezing, but especially that early stage, basically the warmer they are, the quicker they can grow.
Mhm.
Whether or not, if you just took them off and let them go and it's 7 degrees, whether or not they'll
But the feet are in 29 degrees.
Oh, then they're probably going to be around 10 degrees, at
Mhm.
least, if
Mhm.
they've got, because that's going to rise up. They'll probably be okay.
And it's
Yeah.
50.
They just might be a bit
Aye.
slower than
Mhm.
otherwise.
So, well, I put the lids back on, and I haven't put like a thermometer inside. But I'm
Have you
guessing
got the vents
inside.
open?
No.
I'd say
yeah,
open
sorry.
up the vents.
Yes, on the ones that have germinated, but on the ones that haven't germinated, yes, I've got them open.
Yeah.
Not so. Anyway, I'm debating because I can quite easily put the heating up in there. Do you know what I mean? Just kind of have it. But it's just this cold. I don't want to straight away get caught out with the cold. The first frost, like it didn't work. You know what I mean? Have to kind of rush and germinate again.
I think they'll be okay. Certainly, if you've got that above freezing and you've got them under a cloche. It's just that when obviously the smaller and younger they are, the more susceptible they are to that kind of shock. But you won't have to harden them off. At least you're basically hardening them off right from the get-go.
Yes.
So
Well,
yeah.
here's hoping. Here's
Well,
hoping.
can't you bring them inside? Doesn't your wife loves when you have starts all over the house?
Oh,
doesn't
yes, yes.
Okay.
Well, as
God.
we were saying, we've got this kind of cold thing. The house is normally a cold house, apart from the log fiery area. So I doubt she'll be too keen. I kind of, because I have all these trays in there, you know. So well, we'll just have to wait and see. Like I say, I'll debate whether tonight to turn up the little mini heater, because I've got it set at a certain level. You know what I mean? Just to like keep that temperature, above freezing. But I can certainly even take that out and just have that little heater cranking away. Do you know what I mean? What's money? I've just spent tenner on
Yeah, I
bloody
wouldn't do that.
7 potatoes, for God's sake. You know? Jess, how's is yours any of yours?
I was pretty excited. I've actually gone out and bought a heat mat to try and get, because the little propagator that I've got the chilies sat in, it's warm. It is warm, but it's not getting it up. So I raced out and bought a miniature heat mat that can go on my shelving unit. And then I've opened up my lid and I've got 4 germinated. So I'm well excited.
Honestly, them heat
two
mats.
Koreans, 2 of your Koreans.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, one of the champions is up.
Yay.
Who else was it?
Yeah, one of my champions came up.
Oh, and one of the aroma habaneros is up. And I found the Jolokia boot. Found them.
Tell them where
Nice.
it was.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It cannot have been me. It can't. There's no feasible reason for me to hide 5 pepper seeds inside an empty Californian poppy packet. Like, there's just no reason for that to happen.
You've got a poltergeist hiding your seeds.
Probably boyfriend who doesn't appreciate my seed collection, I think, is more the issue.
It's just like how, to be honest, how on earth you would find that, though, Jess? They could, in my kind of lifestyle, they would be there forever. Do you know what I mean? I would never.
I was raging, honestly. I went through, so I've got all these little drawers here, and then I've got like various envelopes of things that people have given me that I've kind of kept together as like stuff that they've given me. And in the end, yeah, I had like my tray of flower seeds out and just hunting through. And when I picked up the Cali, in fact, no, that's not it, but it was like a Frankie Seeds one like that, so quite big. And I thought I'd used up those Californian poppies. And when I felt it, there was something in there. I was like, and yeah, there they were. Oh my God.
So has mum or boyfriend admitted, or are you gonna admit?
You know what? Do you know what? I haven't even brought it up. I just said, oh, I found them, and then left it at that. You know, I was like, I'm not even going to go into this. I can't. So.
See that voice though? I found them. That's terrifying.
Oh yeah, I think there was.
That there, Jess, would frighten me the hell and back. I found them. I'm gonna rip your head off. So no one's. That was me. Sorry, I was just tidying up. That's what my mother used to do. To be honest, you know what I mean. So, you have got them now. Are they sown then now or not?
They're sown. They're sown.
There we go.
Yeah, they're sown. That's good. It wasn't just that one, because I thought I'd just lost the boot. But when I went to sow the sweet peppers, I was going to do it yesterday, and I was like, "There's 4 missing." So in the end, it was like 5 packets of seed, and I was like, "I know I had them all on the same day. So like, where are they?" And they're in my little database. So like the day that I had them all out at like in December, I've obviously had them in my hand that day. Like, yeah. Anyway, it's all over now.
Yes. Come on, bring it back down, Jess. Bring it back down. We're all calm. Gardening is a calm and therapeutic hobby. Yes. Audrey, how about you and seeds and seedlings?
Well, I'm doing a lot of winter sowing of flowers and herbs and
let you off.
Yeah.
Just
a few other
you.
things. Yes. And I'm trying to redo how I garden this year. I'm kind of trying to go out a new door. So I'm essentially reverse engineering like what I want to get and when I want to get it, and then working backwards. So I have not sown, I don't even know that I'm going to grow hot chilies this year. I have so many. I have so many that are dried. I have so, but I want to wait and see what I need.
This is where you drop this in our like little private chat, Audrey, and I think it kind of
Far too sensible.
Yeah.
it stunned everyone. Oh, not even so. So
Yeah, I have so many. I have so many. I wouldn't go through all the chili powder I have in my entire life. I have so much of it. So, I mean, they're fun to grow and they grow well. I have really good luck with peppers here. Whatever's going on with our climate, peppers are like, I never have a bad year of peppers.
Nice.
So, and it shows because I have all this, chili seeds and dried sugar rush peach and dried this. I still have bags in the freezer that I didn't even have time to process last year. So there's still a lot of hot sauce to be made. So I don't think I'm going to do the pepper route. So I'm really trying to figure out what I want to have.
but
And
you
just
can I just jump in there? You're
Sure.
sounding too practical.
Mm.
Why not just grow it for the
there's nothing practical.
just
no.
grow it for the sake of growing it? And
Oh, I will do that. But I also want to make sure, wow, like I caramelize a whole lot of onions and preserve them because we happen to like those. And so I want to make sure the kind of onion that we use and the amount that we do that I grow enough of that. So I'm just trying to take it back a little bit. And like my succession sowings, like the every 3 week stuff is just going to be stuff to eat fresh. Like I'm not preserving it. I'm not, it's just fresh eating. So I'm just trying, and I also want to up my flower game this year. And I talked about that last year, but now I actually want to go, okay, how many bouquets can I get out of this? And this is what I'm going to grow. And I know I need a certain color for my kitchen and a certain color for my living room
Wow.
and a nice one for here for the grow room. So I want to make sure that I make that happen.
so will the flowers then be planted and sown where the chilies normally go?
Possibly, or I really am going to up, I think, my fresh eating lettuce, chard, the things that we use a lot. So there's always fresh picking going on, even in the dead of summer.
Mhm.
So yeah, so I'm just trying to massage what I do a little bit.
What are
Yeah,
some
no,
of
when you were saying that, I was properly like, oh God, that's the dream. Like,
it's
I know I
Right.
should do that. When I'm looking through my seed like list, I'm like, well, it's like this year I've decided I'm not growing the two beans that I grow for drying every year, even though I love them, the Bolottis and the Greek Gigantes. I've got bags of them in the freezer because it was a really successful year for them. And
Yeah.
I've had to like put my foot down. I'm like, right, I am not growing them because I've got enough. And I mean, I thought that was a big step. Going through everything to the point of like bouquets is just amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Well, and because one of my goals was that when someone came over to visit me, give them clippers and go out and pick a bouquet, take it home.
Nice.
So I need to have a lot of things that can do that. So yeah, and like beans, I love those Christmas limas. I have had 3 really good years of those. I do not need to grow any more of those right now. Maybe in the future.
Will you still send us some of them Christmas beans? 'Cause
Yeah, no,
I
I
didn't have
was
a
gonna
good.
actually talk to you like when we're not live here and see what you guys need.
Audrey, I didn't get one
Nice.
germination from.
Oh,
I don't. Uh-huh. Just
what did you do
I
to the
know. I
Christmas
don't know.
limas?
Don't know what.
Oh, so good.
Oh, I
Such a
know. I
good
know.
bean. Such a good bean.
Have you?
And I'm growing gigantes this year because I'm pretty much out of them. So yeah.
Have you grown flowers before then? I'm not saying you haven't grown flowers, but have you grown them like onto this scale where you can like bouquet,
Yeah, no.
right?
But I think, and I'm not going to grow cabbage in the middle of summer anymore. Those dang white butterflies, I'm sorry, not feeding you again. So I'm going to probably plant flowers where a lot of my summer brassicas would have gone. Because I'm just not going to, I do not want to fight that this year. I might
Nice.
get fight back in me another time, but not this year.
No,
So,
I can totally understand that, mind you, because it's like the
oh,
butterflies and the white fly and everything like that. It's just
yeah, it took my spirit out a couple of
Mhm.
years ago, and I just don't have it back. So I'm gonna grow flowers instead.
You actually it almost sounded like your house was burgled the way you just took it out of it, and we've never been the same since. You know what I
We
mean? We're
haven't,
talking about
because
butterflies here, Audrey.
everything looked good on the outside of, the wrap. We opened the wrap up and it was like confetti came out. All these white
Mm.
flies, all these butterflies that were kind of hiding in there, and they decimated it.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I'm not feeding them this year.
Now, honestly, I have no idea about flowers. I mean, I started only like maybe 1, 2 year ago growing cosmos, because it's a lovely. Are there most of your flowers you're going to grow then, Audrey? Are they a tricky thing to grow, or is it a hell of a lot easier than growing the veg? Because I'm presuming
Well,
caterpillars don't eat.
it has a lot less pest damage, let's
Uh-huh.
put it that way. Um, I find flowers pretty easy to grow if you just follow, is it a sunflower? I mean, does it like full sun? Does it like part shade? Is it like a lot of water, little water? But they're a bit more forgiving
Mm.
too, I think. So, but I love going out there and like picking a salad for dinner. Like that's the best to me.
Mhm.
Like I don't have to worry about what's in the fridge and just go out and pick it and have
Yeah.
it. Love it. And then have a few flowers on the table while we're eating it. So,
It's definitely my favorite is that kind of picking to eat. Taking a
yeah,
relatively small amount, a relatively small harvest home that you can eat that night or, over
right.
the next two. Taking like 9 cabbages home. It's like a bit different. Or I get it even with the peppers, actually, the pepper harvest. There's a little bit of me, I love growing them and I love the actual process of harvesting. And then when it turns into kilograms that you have to then process in the kitchen, it just gets a
But
little less exciting.
listen, used to on the bottom there, I was so close to nearly spending 200 quid on what you call it, dryer. And now you're all like, you know what?
Well, that's good. That drying's easy. You just chuck them in.
Oh
What do
no, a
you
dehydrator is like necessary.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
is necessary.
Also,
Also, we paid
£200.
200 quid
What were you
for it. Where are you
looking
getting
at?
it from? Bobby?
See, look at
Yeah.
these two. And you.
They're about 30 quid.
Me mummy always said, get, you know what I mean, get the best, Tony. So I don't know what it was, to be honest, but I was kind of putting the idea to Melanie and it didn't. And then my son chirped up because my Reed's been up for a week. Dad, there's a function on the air fryer.
Oh.
Says it. You know what I mean? So we'll see. We'll
well,
see.
you can also dehydrate in your oven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another thing because he
Yeah.
said that as well. Just put it low. Is that right, Audrey? And then open the door or something. Am I right?
I think, yeah, as low as it can go, and then just leave the door cracked.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That seems, yeah. I mean, the thing that's quite nice about the dryers is that they just like tuck away. They're not in your way,
This
and they're
one,
quite
this
cheap to run. And
wasn't going to tuck away.
yeah, no, mine's huge. It
This
takes
thing
up.
had 12. This had 12 shelves. Industrial. You know what I mean? And you could.
Jesus, you
Is
need
that
to
next?
spend
Were
20
you
quid.
looking at
That's
it?
it.
Were you
Yeah.
looking at an Excalibur?
That's where it went, Audrey. I'll blame Audrey because it was Audrey that said Excalibur. Then I just went down a rabbit hole and it was nearly, you know what I mean? Oh,
Yeah, I have one of those, and but it's fabulous. But it's huge. It takes up like half a counter. It's
right.
very big.
But it's the footprint, Audrey. That's what kind of
Right.
I've been told no.
Very sensible. I think.
I'm
Yeah,
being
that
told
one.
no. You know what I mean?
Well, see, you asked. There's the difference.
Mhm. I ask for some things. I hide other things. What else? GB, you were mentioning New Year's resolutions.
Yeah, it's a little bit late now, aren't we? A few weeks into the new year. But I was thinking about it the other day, when I was doing all my, looking for footage and everything, and I realized
Oh,
the
you're not going to go
value.
down there, are you, and start like documenting all your footage?
Well, I'm sort of trying to do a bit of that. That's not one of my resolutions, but the main thing is, for me, a bit more photography. One of the reasons I bought the camera that I did was because it's really good for photography as well, and it's one of those things that I absolutely love. Like especially if you take your camera down the plot or something, time just melts away. When you go into photography mode, you kind of get dialed in. You're just thinking about composition and what's going on. You may be trying to photograph a flower or a crop or an insect or something. And you were talking about when you go into your allotment and it's like that stress valve just going. Like, I get that a lot from the allotment as well, but for me, photography is like a big part of that. And it's something that I've just kind of forgotten. And I had my camera out. I've got a really nice macro lens that I bought years ago for butterflies, and I was using it to take pictures of the chili seedlings for the video. And I was like, I don't know, I spent maybe like 40 minutes, and I was like, I love this. And so that's one of mine, is more time at the allotment with my camera doing photography, because it's all part of that allotment experience for me as well. It's quite nice. The combination of photography and the allotment really works.
Is this just for personal then, JB, or is this maybe to kind of put through like
It's both
B
as
roll?
well.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is
You can always
the
do
B-roll stuff.
the Jim Burns edit effect. Eh? I know
Yeah.
what I'm talking
Yeah,
about. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Yeah.
There's
Look it up.
That's kind of
Jess is just looking blank there. Aren't you, Jess?
I'm just thinking
It's
about. I was actually thinking about that's quite a good New Year's resolution.
it's really, really handy to have for B-roll as well. Yeah,
I used
because
to. I didn't. I'm not even for B-roll particularly, but like I used to have. We've been talking about this. This has come up a lot, like in the last couple of weeks, about storing your videos and being able to like look back through them. But I used to find the Instagram, because I used to put like 3 pictures a day on Instagram when I was at the allotment all the time, and that has been so much more useful. Like the vlogs, you can't tell what's in them. Like a moving image on your phone, you can't just scroll through and find, oh, when did this start flowering, or when did it stop flowering, or when did the frost hit? If you've got them in photographs, you've just got all the information like directly in front of you. You're not having to kind of go back and forth. So yeah, I'd like to take more photos, stills.
I had that with one of when I was going through all the chili footage. I found 2 photos and I was like, oh my God, like, because I just didn't remember that I'd done it. But in my first year of allotmenting, for my chilies, I was really late. There was chaos, brand new allotment to take over, and I just started 2 seeds in pots, just straight into like a little 1 liter pot, in April, like the end of April was when I sowed my cayenne. And then I found another picture of the same plant in September, like bushy, full of fruit. It was in a quad grow. I was just like, I do not remember doing that at all. And it's a really nice example. And like you say, it's just concise. There, 2 images. You can tell it straight away. No searching through hours of footage or anything. So it is really useful for that as well, for sure.
So how though, JB, are you going to document or like file photographs just on like a camera roll and just
So I've got I do it by year. So at the moment they're just seasons. And each year has about 1,500 in there, just various bits from my camera. I've always been quite good at taking stuff, from my phone and backing it up on my desktop and that kind of thing. But I actually started going through and putting some in chili folders and harvest folders, and they're the only 2 I've got so far. But you want harvest, don't you? You always want a nice little harvest picture for when you're talking about stuff.
It's funny because like Apple kind of, and they've just released and I think there's quite a few things like a journal app So it's always like when you go out, it'll kind of give you a prompt. Or because I was at this English heritage site, oh, do you want to take some photographs? You know what I mean? It's you know what I mean? Just like so, maybe like a journal for me. You know, like would be handy because then it's date, time, and everything. You know what I mean? As well. So, but it's a nice. I wouldn't, for me, JB, just like the camera's too much hassle. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I know it is a total mind escape when you're dialing in and that, but I've tried that with like video, and it's just like, who needs the color grade? Just put it on auto and just like press, and it'll be, for me, it would just be like, take a photograph. Do you know what I mean? Because to be honest, I find them amazing kind of cameras in phones these days. You know what I mean? So I haven't got a New Year's resolution, to be honest. I haven't. I tried to cut out sugar. It lasted 3 days or something like that.
Oh no!
I was going to say, sure. I thought you were cutting the chocolate out.
Well, we went. I didn't
Had a scone.
and I
Got a free scone. Remember?
Yes, that was the second time because I've already like committed sin. We went to a lovely little restaurant. It was a birthday present. And you have to book up to this restaurant like months in advance. So we got like a Sunday dinner booking in early January. And I think I was like 5 days into like no sugar. I was eating, you know, it was just chocolate, puddings and, you know, like crumble and custard. I was trying to keep away from all them things. But then we went for this kind of fancy meal with friends, and I just like, the voucher, what we got, you know what I mean? It was a 3-course voucher that I got for my birthday presents. Well, I wasn't going to not, you know what I mean? Because it was like a 3. So it was sticky toffee pudding with ice cream. Man, it was just.
Yeah.
Can't beat a sticky toffee pudding.
Funny enough, since then, it's just like, it's gone again. You know what I mean? It just like fell off the wagon. It's like fags, you know what I mean? Or drink, you know what I mean? Funny, I've stopped drinking 2 years ago and bloody. Never look, doesn't even come into my mind. I kind of, I could kill a little half. But Jesse, have you got any New Year's resolutions, gardening resolutions, or anything that's going to make a change?
Gardening resolutions, yeah. It's a bit like we're talking about photographs, being able to look back. I've specifically got a book that's got dates in it, like a diary, like not like a journal diary, but like a bog standard like dates. And I'm actually writing in like when I do something specific, like what day I sowed the chilies and then what day I ended up watering them, because like they were sown and then they just sat in dry compost for like a week. There's things like that. So, but something that's really super easy to just flick back through and look when things happened. I tried it on a wall chart. In fact, like I've got a big wall chart on the wall here that I drew out last year, that the idea was to do exactly that, just to note stuff down so it was all open. But yeah, it just fell by the wayside. It was like my equivalent of just ramming a sticky toffee pudding down my throat. Like I just didn't carry on with it at all. I'm useless. And now I've like covered it up with like, you know, other bits and pieces to hide my shame.
Here's a question.
So I'm trying to like keep this little book, and I've done all right so far. Like I'm how many days in? 15 days in, and I have noted everything down so far. So
it's just devil's advocate, because I know Steve was kind of right into that, but Jess, I would have thought you probably especially just know when to sow peppers, when to why do you need it as a reference? Is it a reference?
It's not about like noting down when I'm going to do something, because I know when I want to sow this and when I want to sow that. And at the moment, obviously, what I'm noting down is sowing dates and stuff. But it's going to be like when I pick the first fruit from such and such, and when I get the first. So it's like a complete year of what happened. So I can see, because obviously the back of the packet says, I don't know, 3 months from sowing till harvest. But in my head, do I really know that that's true? And what was the difference between the ones that I had growing in the polytunnel versus the greenhouse versus the ones in the bed outside? And being able to just see all that in a concise form, I think will be really useful.
Well, we will keep you to it.
It's very cool.
Yeah. So when it comes to like end of November, Jess, well, how's the journaling going? January the 15th, the last.
And it just stops there.
Audrey, have you got any New Year's resolutions? Maybe like gardening themed or?
Well, just the way I'm kind of redoing the garden this year, kind of
Yeah,
thinking about it.
Mm.
But
Yeah,
I
what kind of
did make a
colours you're saying?
YouTube New Year's resolution.
Ooh,
I'm gonna get out some videos,
very good.
like just some plain old videos. So I got to up that. I got to
Mhm.
get back. It's easy for me. Lives are very easy, and they're, you know, but there's a whole lot of videos I'd like to do. So that's my New Year's resolutions. Get
Right.
back,
then.
get
Have
back
you,
behind the camera.
have you got plans for specific ones you want to make, or do you just want to be making them again in general?
Well, I think like I did one the other day, and I haven't looked at the footage yet, but it was about my garden assistant and I going through the seeds to figure out what worked, what didn't, what we need
Oh,
to
nice.
order. But it can get very boring. Like I'm just thinking, is somebody going to want to sit and watch this? And our banter as we're going through stuff. So I need to look at it and see how that went. But that's part of the process is you got to evaluate what you have and what you need.
Yeah, I'm sure it's great.
So
There's
yeah,
definitely people that will be interested. 100%.
yeah. Well,
Mhm.
and again, I think it's more just about that's the part of the process of having a garden. You got to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And it's not the most exciting, but I find it very exciting
No,
because
I think you're honestly, I think because it's for other people. It's all right. I'll do that seed.
yeah,
oh, that's a new one. I've never heard of that. Like again, when Tony O'Neill said like celeriac, right? Oh, I better sow mine. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So you're coming up, and then obviously you'll be saying, "Oh, I'll plant this one. I'll do, and I'll make sure this." You know what I mean? So there's always like little tips you spin
right.
out as well. So get it out, Audrey.
I will. I have to have the Tony mentality about
Mhm.
videos. I think I was a little bored like JB with everything I have is cataloged, everything, but I think I just need to get them out.
It's a balance, isn't it? It's a balance always.
Yeah, and I'm a little persnickety about that kind of stuff, so it makes me
I started
crazy.
out like that.
Yeah, it makes me crazy just to have, oh, here's all the footage. No, what's it about and where? Yeah. So
Delete it, Audrey. Put it on the YouTube and delete it the second it goes live. As long as
Oh.
it's live, delete it. Do you know what I mean? So, and it's gone. Forget it. You don't worry about
Oh,
it.
I couldn't live like that. I'm so
No.
sorry, Tony.
And
I
then you
couldn't.
do what JB has to do and run out and take a photograph of a chili.
Yeah.
Well, because
Well, that
sometimes
was
you do get to a video and go, "What? They're not going to know what this is about."
yeah.
Yeah, I get
Yep.
it. I totally get it. Sorry.
Can because if I went down there, then it's just like it becomes a bit of a chew. Do you know what I mean? And I cannot work out a filing system where
Yeah.
I'll be able to kind of pull it together. Anyway, what time have we got? Where's me? I'm looking all around in a circle. It's there, Tony, man, right bloody there. So I think we're kind of coming. Have we got anything else, Jess? Have you got anything else to say before we? By all means, if you've got
No,
anything.
just wondering what we're doing, what you got in the next week. What's happening next on
Oh.
the
Oh.
allotment.
I
I'm determined. I'm going to get some microgreens on the go next week. That's my first one.
got my
Other
little.
than that, I've kind of put a bit of a halt on my sowings now. I'll wait for this lot to come through and then get them shuffled off the shelves. And then, so it'll probably be the very last of the month when I do a load other than the microgreens because they're not going on there. But yeah.
I think I want to. I mean, I think I'm the same as you, Jess. I want to probably leave it just a little bit, but I do want to get like some marathon calabrese away pretty early, just to try and maybe some igloo cauliflower to try and just get a head start. You know what I mean, and get that early crop in. Then you get another crop, like in the middle there. So maybe that, but. Yeah, I've got some. I should sow them microgreens because I know Audrey's doing the microgreens now as well. So
They're currently done, so I need to sow some more. I was really bad at doing a second sowing, because usually if you do it like every 2 weeks, you have them we kind of killed both of them. So I need to start sowing some more.
I tell you what I didn't do, mind you. You know, with the onions, I haven't sown. I should sow actually like some spring onions. I hadn't sown any spring onions yet, so I might try and get a head start with them as well. I don't know. Jess, did you sow any spring
idea.
onions?
Yeah, I did that Ishikura that
Right,
came
that's
in
the ones.
the little trio. Yeah.
Are they up?
They are looking really, really good. Yeah, they're downstairs in the cat flap zone, you know, where it's really cold. And they're looking fantastic. They look really, really strong.
The cat flap zone. I love it. I love it.
I think that's going to be my next one then, spring onions, because I'm sure I'm ahead of myself now.
That's a really good. I like that little. We should sow these in the next few. There's a good little reminder for me. This is what I need.
Well, I'm
I like this
gonna sow
segment.
some indoor lettuce.
Oh,
So just to get that rolling and get a good, I'm sure that will harvest well before I can plant it outside.
Did anybody see? Sorry, Audrey. When there's a few companies, but you know, like these indoor hydroponic herb with a light on, kind of. Because I was thinking, oh, they might be.
Did you say herb?
Herb. Do you understand?
Is there some guy in there? Is there some guy in there doing something? I don't understand.
Oh, touche. Yeah. But you know, I fancy one of them up here in my little workspace here to kind of have a light on and watch some pics, just to grow salad. That was all it really was, the indoor salad growing. Oh.
I'm sure you might be able to get someone to send you on a
Well,
Tony.
JB, I've been trying. You know what I mean?
Have you?
Been trying.
Are they holding out?
I mean, I've even offered them some bikes.
I was going to say, can't you exchange a bike for that?
Do they want a bike? Well, I've tried, honestly. I've tried, but I don't know if I'm going to spam. That's all I can think of.
Yeah.
Anything, JB? Are you planning this week or?
I need to do that greenhouse base. That's what I need to do, and
it's going to be
I'll report back next week.
Two rolling on jobs. Yeah, I think with Jess and JB, I think it's just going to be.
I'm really glad it's not just me putting one off. I'll probably build a hotbed instead, or do something else in the back garden.
So that's like in your mind totally like worth it, but really it's so like not worth it. Get the greenhouse done. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, big thank you for you coming up, Jess. Thank you so much again. Got you on every week, so thank you indeed. That's really, really kind. Really appreciate it. JB, always a pleasure. Never a chore. Never a chore. Trying to get JB on other little things I've got going on, and it's just too busy, man. He's working.
There's a lot going on. It's busy.
It's like working in. It's like what the day job? Well, how's that? Get them told. But
some juggling going on.
Yep.
Audrey, very nice to have you there from the frozen depths. Yes. So Audrey is at Real Foods Come Dirty on YouTube. Expect videos.
Yes.
Soon. Yes.
Yeah. And I do a live every Wednesday.
Yes. And Jessie is plot 37. Jessie at plot 37. I'm getting this right there now. Yes. And JB is.
Go on, you can do it. Which way round?
Naturally JB.
Naturally JB.
There we go.
I was going to say it's right on his.
Yeah.
It's written on his.
Even with it right in front of us there, it's kind of.
Either works. If you type in JB naturally, it comes up as well, so it's fine.
You come up in quite a few searches. You know what I mean? That even when you type in kind of lumberjack with chainsaw, that photograph pops up. Well, listen, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Have a great week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.